together, because you can all hear me, because I'm bringing up an amazing speaker. Mark White is the bass player for the Spin Doctors and an active member of the atheist community, a passionate musician who plays with several bands in several genres. Mike's another speaker who will be joining us tomorrow on stage at the Sunday convention at the Washington Court Hotel. This day kicks off at 10 a.m. and tickets are just $99 at the door. Please welcome the one and only Mark White!
Hello, everybody. All right, so, oh my, look at that, that's unreal. So, the thing about me is I'm actually really grateful to be an atheist today, because tomorrow I definitely don't have to go to church. That's one of the great things about being an atheist. So I wanted to talk about the whole concept of love, because when I was in the church, there was no love really. It was all about people coming against gay people, people coming against people who are not married, you know, having sex outside of marriage, whatever it is, fornication. And it was one of these things that when you read the Bible, you see Jesus is in there. Everything is about love. He's hanging out with all these different people. He's doing all these different things that basically he's showing this immense love. And I had a lot of love for Jesus while I was in church there for a while. And then as I started to put all those things into practice, as far as praying all the time and looking for the Lord and all those things, nothing would ever happen. And I realized that the people in the church weren't really following the Bible. What they were doing was just following their own little hatred, like tyrant or whatever you want to call it. And so I started to just drift away, basically. And now I'm this crazy atheist that's basically really, really angry. And I got out of it only because, as being on Facebook, all my friends were on there, and they were just, dude, you got to chill out all the time. You know, you're making people upset. And then one day I got a letter from somebody who says, listen, you really influenced me. You're really making a big difference in my life. I read all your rants and raves and all that stuff, and it made me think. And so now, here I am. Mark White, super atheist. And so I started following, it's amazing. I got to meet Lawrence Krauss. I'm still shaking over that. But one of the things I realized that man's ability to reason has actually made him unreasonable. And when you think about it, it's the same story. You've got all these different races and all these different sexuality things going on and whatever you want to call it. And we all live on the same planet, but there's like some of the people are a minority and they get picked on. And that's really amazing to me because most of the picking is coming from religious people. And most of the evilness and hatred comes from these same people. And so when you see a transgender person or a gay person or a black person or a white person and whatever, and you should, if you don't like them, you should actually get to know them. You should try to find out what they're all about. You should try to understand them and talk to them. And most religious people will not do this for some reason. So even though there's some out there, I can see them with their little funny little signs, whatever. I ask you, if you know a transgender, if you don't know a transgender person, you should get to know them. If you don't know a gay couple or a gay person, you should get to know them. You should ask them questions. And you should be their friend, just like Jesus was friends of the tax collectors and the prostitutes and all the other freaks that were, hanging around him at that time. So one of the things that really made me upset in the beginning was that being an atheist was a horrible thing. Like I just chose not to believe in God because there's no evidence. I realized there was no evidence. I read the Bible, I did everything that was in the Bible that you're supposed to do, and none of this came out. And so when I became an atheist, I got like super crazy attacked. All my Christian friends were like, you're going straight to hell, what the hell's wrong with you? You shouldn't be doing that, God's gonna strike you down. And so like, look, I'm here today. So I thought I'd be struck down before I got here actually. But here I am. So for all you Christian people and all you people who are on the fence, the best thing you can do is to question everything, is to just think like I did. I was like, how is it that two people can be in the Garden of Eden and now we've got like 6 billion people on the planet of all these different races? Like, what was the two, I asked my pastor, I said, what was the race of the two people that were in the Garden of Eden? Because now we have all these different black people in Africa, we have all these different Asian people in Asia, and we have all these different white people in Europe. How do you get all these different people from just two people? And then he pointed out to me about Noah's Ark, because obviously all those people got wiped out, and now we have Noah's family. So I asked him the same question. So how did that happen? And then you read it and you realize these people were all having sex with each other, which is really disgusting. I mean, if that was today, they would all be arrested. So he said to me, you got to have faith. You can't question anything. But then you read in the Bible where it says, Paul says to question everything. So you bring that up, and then once again, you get beat down. Hey, listen, just don't worry about it, just go pray, whatever. So that's what I did. I started praying, and I asked God to show me something. Let me tell you, that's like the longest phone call ever. I mean, you're just praying and praying and praying and praying, and nothing ever happens until somebody actually will come along and tell you, hey, the Lord told me to tell you something. And so that's usually when God talks to me, is when somebody else tells me. So the bottom line for me, coming to the Reason Rally, is that I have set myself free. And I spent a good, thank you very much. I'm 53 today, and I started out when I was 15. I mean, today's not my birthday, I'm actually 53 right now. But I started out when I was 17, and I was in and out of the church so many times that I was like the chronic backslider. And now there is no way that anybody could ever come up to me and convince me to go back. I feel so weird about that, because I was always thinking about God. Like, at a point, I didn't even think it was even possible not to believe in God. But now I'm just this free person. And so I encourage all the people out there who are confused, because I'm sure there's some people out there that are confused, to just talk to an atheist, talk to a scientist, read a book, go on YouTube, and just open your mind and not be a pod, because most Christians are pods. You talk to them and they don't want to listen to you. So your job would be to set yourself free. And remember, if there was a God, this whole planet would be Hawaii. Thank you very much.
I love hearing people's stories of how they came to find their own strength within themselves. Isn't it amazing? I think that is so much a part of what we do here and why we're here, is that so often we're taught to look outward to find strength, and then that outwardness, whether it be religion or something else, is used to manipulate our own personal power. So it's really, really great to celebrate who we are, what we do, where we get our power, and where we get our goodness. So thank you for being here. Give yourselves a round of applause for being good and awesome and powerful.